You don't lack strength. You lack inner structure. When a man falls apart, it's not because the world was too heavy. It's because his spine was hollow. The sword breaks not when it meets resistance, but when it was forged in fear. I see many men, walking, breathing, but crumbling inside. They believe strength is muscle, posture, or the volume of their voice. It is not. Strength is built in the dark, alone, when no one watches and no one applauds. You become strong not by lifting weights, but by holding silence in storms, by standing still when your mind begs for escape. You think you're weak because you feel pain, but weakness is not pain. It is surrender. I am Miyamoto Musashi. I did not wait for peace to build myself. I built myself to be the storm. This video is not to comfort you. It is to expose you, and then to rebuild you. Let us begin. They told you strength means control. Control over others. Control over outcomes. But what they didn't tell you is that real strength begins when you lose that control, and you stay upright anyway. Modern men are told to be powerful, but they are not taught to be whole. You wake up, scroll through distractions, answer to demands, pretend to be invincible, and still wonder why you feel like a ghost inside your own body. The truth is simple. You have not built a structure within, and what lacks structure collapses under time. Weakness is not the inability to fight. It is the refusal to confront. You avoid conflict. You numb your thoughts. You chase validation, noise, and noise again. I have walked alone, not by choice but by principle, because when you walk alone, you face the weight of your own mind, and that is where true strength is born. This video is not for those who want comfort. It is for those who want clarity. Let me show you what you were never told about weakness. Strength. Every man wants it. Few understand it. Fewer still deserve it. What you call strength may just be a well-dressed fear. Men chase titles, muscles, bank accounts, not because they are strong, but because they are terrified of what they'd be without them. I have seen warriors tremble, not before the blade of another, but before the silence of their own doubt. They call it ambition, but it is just noise masking panic. They train their bodies, but not their minds. They win battles outside, but lose wars within. Let me be clear. The pursuit of power is often a brilliant disguise for the avoidance of pain. You say you want to lead, but would you still want it if no one followed? You say you want to be feared, but would you still speak loudly if no one listened? You must ask, what am I chasing, and what am I running from? The enemy is not always in front of you. Sometimes, it is the void inside you that you hope achievement will fill. But nothing fills a cracked vessel. True strength is not built on top of fear, it is forged through it. You must walk into the fire of what terrifies you. Not around it, not above it, through. When I picked up the sword, I did not do it to become powerful. I did it to become clear. Every strike, every stance was not for the enemy, but for the chaos inside me. If you seek strength to escape yourself, it will betray you. But if you seek strength to confront yourself, it will rebuild you. So I ask you, what are you really fighting for? And what are you so desperate to avoid seeing in the mirror? You keep trying to prove yourself. To the world. To people who are not watching. To voices in your past that no longer exist, except in your head. You chase applause. You crave recognition. But let me tell you what I have learned from a lifetime of war. Those who seek to prove themselves are the weakest of all. The strong do not announce themselves. They do not explain. They do not beg to be seen. They build. Quietly. Relentlessly. And when the moment comes, they do not rise to the occasion. They are the occasion. Do you know what it means to need to be seen? It means you have not yet seen yourself. Validation is an addiction more dangerous than alcohol or lust, because it hides behind honor. It wraps itself in achievement. And before you realize it, your entire life becomes a performance, and your soul a forgotten spectator. You go to the gym, not to become strong, but to be admired. You speak in meetings, not to deliver truth, but to be heard. You post, not to express, but to be approved. This is not power. This is captivity. I have walked into duels knowing that I may not return. Not because I had something to prove, but because I had something to refine within me. My battles were mirrors. And the sword was not just a weapon, it was a question. Who are you when no one is watching? When there is no applause, no reward, no spotlight, do you still stand straight? Do you still move with discipline? Or do you collapse into the silence, unready to face your own absence? Real strength is invisible. It is quiet. It is the way you carry yourself in boredom, in rejection, in stillness. The need to prove dies when the need to be whole is born. So kill the performance. Burn the costume. And ask yourself, finally, with no one left to impress, who am I when nothing is at stake, but everything is on the line? Discipline is not a routine. It is not a list. It is not a calendar. It is a weapon. The man without discipline is already defeated. He just hasn't realized the battle has started. Every morning you wake without purpose, you hand your sword to the enemy. And worse, the enemy lives within you. I have seen men build empires in their minds and rot in their habits. They speak of dreams. They journal ambitions. But when the alarm rings, they press silence. When hunger for change appears, they feed it with distraction. You want a different life. But do you want different actions? That is where most fail. Discipline is not motivation. It does not ask how you feel. It is a vow. A quiet oath you take when the world is asleep. It says, I will move forward regardless. Do not speak of willpower if you cannot wake before the sun. Do not speak of strength if you fold under fatigue. Do not speak of greatness if your word means nothing to yourself. I trained my sword hand not just to strike, but to obey. Obedience to the path, even when it bored me. Even when it bruised me. Because I knew, the edge of my blade was only as sharp as the edge of my habits. Discipline begins with the small. The way you make your bed. The way you sit in stillness. The way you deny the soft temptation of delay. Every choice you make is a vote for who you will become. Every skipped step is a betrayal. You think your life will change when something big happens. But that is a lie you've been sold. Life only changes when the small things are conquered. The uncomfortable moment. The bitter task. The uncelebrated grind. I have fought men stronger than me. Faster than me. Louder than me. But they fell because I outlasted them. Not through power. Through practice. Discipline is the hidden root of freedom. Most believe it is a cage. But the man without discipline is chained to chaos. He is tossed by emotion, wrecked by impulse, ruled by appetites. You want peace? Then master repetition. You want clarity? Then master silence. You want power? Then master self. A man ruled by his mood is no man at all. He is a puppet, pulled by unseen strings, undone by every wind. My way was never glamorous. I repeated drills in the cold. I walked paths no one cared to follow. I bled, stumbled, failed. But I stood again, because I had taught my body and mind a command. We do not yield. If you lack discipline, you lack everything. So rise, not for the world to see, but for your own soul to feel. The discipline you resist is the doorway you need. You think the enemy is out there. You watch for threats in the eyes of others, in the world's politics, in your rivals' rise. But I will tell you something you won't hear from the masses. The most dangerous enemy is the one that shares your heartbeat. It is the voice that whispers excuses in the morning. The hesitation before action. The rage that blinds you. The pride that deafens you. It is not the world that delays your progress. It is the war inside your own chest. Men spend their lives preparing for external conflict while rotting from within. They sharpen their arguments, but not their minds. They build walls against others, but have no defenses against their own urges. You are betrayed daily. Not by others, but by yourself. The enemy within is ancient. It knows your weaknesses intimately. It wears your face, echoes your fears, and speaks your language. You can't hide from it. You can't ignore it. You can only confront it, or be ruled by it. I trained my blade to strike, but I trained my soul to see. Before I ever stepped onto a battlefield, I stood still with my own chaos. I faced the impulse to retreat, to blame, to delay. And each time I chose to stay, to own, to act, I won. A man who knows his enemy is strong, but a man who knows himself is unbreakable. You must go deeper than surface victories. Promotions, money, applause. These are distractions if they are not born from inner mastery. The real battle is in your discipline when no one is watching. In your response to failure. In your ability to sit in discomfort and still choose the right path. I have seen warriors fall not to swords, but to shame. They carried armor on their shoulders, but rot in their hearts. Face yourself. Not once, but every day. Wake up and look in the mirror, not to admire or hate, but to challenge. Ask, where am I lying to myself? What am I pretending not to know? Which war have I avoided because it was too close to home? When you confront that enemy, you unlock a level of power the world cannot take from you. Because it was forged in fire that no applause can reach. The sword in your hand means nothing if the mind holding it is broken. So sharpen yourself first. Strike second. Peace is worshipped in this age. Calmness. Stillness. Inner harmony. Men light candles, chant mantras, escape to distant retreats searching for peace. But what they call peace is often just avoidance, well-decorated denial. True peace is not the absence of noise. It is power in the middle of it. You cannot find peace by running from the battlefield in your mind. You must walk directly into it. You must hear the screams, the doubts, the chaos, and stand unshaken. Because when the mind is a battlefield, any peace that is not earned is just performance. I have met men who looked calm. Eyes closed, voices soft, smiles practiced. But inside, they were in pieces. Torn by guilt, haunted by fear, paralyzed by memories. Their peace was cosmetic, a costume. You can only trust the peace of a man who has endured his storm. I did not meditate to feel better. I sat in silence to meet the monsters I carried. I did not breathe to escape stress. I breathed to stay present in its grip. My practice was not for tranquility, it was for truth. The mind is not your enemy, but it is a dangerous terrain. And if you enter it without armor, you will be devoured. That armor is built through discipline, through endurance, through exposure to pain without flinching. You must stop performing calmness. Stop quoting Stoics while living in panic. The world does not need your aesthetic, it needs your authenticity. If your mind is at war, own it. Say it. Face it. Then fight. Build your structure from that war, not from fantasies. Peace must be won, not borrowed. The calm I have today was bought with years of chaos. It is not pretty. It is not poetic. But it is mine. So the next time you envy a man's silence, ask yourself, has he earned it? Or is he just hiding better than you? Only the man who stands tall in his own mental battlefield has the right to call himself peaceful. Everything else is theater. Words are cheap. Action is sacred. The world is filled with talkers, men who speak of ambition but never bleed for it. They rehearse greatness in conversation, but vanish when it is time to act. They quote warriors. They post discipline. They chant courage. But when the moment arrives, they retreat into silence, hoping no one notices their absence. I have learned to speak only with movement. The blade does not boast before it cuts. The mountain does not scream its strength. And a man of true force does not declare himself, he simply arrives. In my youth, I thought I had to explain, to justify, to prove through words that I was worthy. But the more I spoke, the more I diluted my energy. A lion does not explain to the sheep why it hunts. It just hunts. If you find yourself constantly talking about your next move, ask, why haven't you made it yet? Action is pure. It requires no applause. It invites no approval. It does not beg to be understood. It moves. It creates change. It transforms both the doer and the world around him. A man who builds in silence holds a kind of terror. Because when he moves, the world has no warning. He does not forecast. He does not debate. He strikes. The sword I carried had no voice. But it spoke in steel. Your life must be the same. Let your routines speak of your values. Let your body reveal your habits. Let your presence announce what your mouth no longer needs to say. Words rot when they are not backed by movement. They become performance. Ego. Manipulation. Speak less. Move more. The more you explain, the more you reveal your uncertainty. A man who knows his path does not seek agreement, he walks. So stop writing your story in promises. Etch it in scars. In steps taken. In early mornings and silent victories. That is the only language worth speaking. Let your silence echo louder than their noise. Pride is a mask, and the man who wears it forgets his own face. You may believe your pride protects you, that it gives you posture, direction, identity. But I will tell you the truth few are willing to hear. Most pride is nothing more than fear, dressed in armor that doesn't fit. False pride is a chain. It doesn't lift you. It traps you. It locks your growth inside the illusion that you are already enough. It blinds you to correction. It deafens you to wisdom. It wraps you in a cloak of righteousness, even as your foundation rots beneath you. I have fought men who stood tall with reputation, but they shattered at first touch. Their pride made them heavy, unadaptable, fragile. Pride says, I know, but the warrior says, I'm learning. You may feel that admitting ignorance is weakness, that asking questions makes you small. But the man who refuses to ask is not proud, he is perishing in silence. I was once proud, too proud to admit fear, too proud to ask for help, too proud to begin again. And in that pride, I delayed my evolution. I mistook stubbornness for strength. Then came defeat. Real defeat, not from an opponent, but from the inside. A moment when my pride collapsed, and I was left naked in my own failure. And it was there, finally, that I saw the truth. Only a man who can kneel before truth can rise with power. False pride resists change. Real strength welcomes it. You say you are proud of who you are. But is that pride building you or caging you? Does it give you momentum, or does it demand perfection that crushes your spirit when you fall? Let me be clear. There is a pride that is sacred, the kind born of honor, effort, truth. But that is not what most carry. Most carry performance. They are actors playing the role of the man who knows, the man who wins, the man who cannot be broken. But the man who truly cannot be broken has already let go of needing to appear invincible. I do not fear the man who is always certain. I fear the one who doubts, who questions, who evolves, because he cannot be predicted, and he cannot be stopped. So look within. Ask yourself, where has pride become your jailer? Where have you refused to grow, just to appear strong? Kill the pride that tells you to stand still. Cut the chain that says, this is who I am, and won't let you move. True warriors are not too proud to bow. They are too disciplined to pretend. Let go of the mask. The world is not waiting for your perfection. It's waiting for your realness. And so are you. Weakness does not arrive with a sword. It does not shout. It whispers. It waits. And then it devours. You may believe you are safe. You may feel in control. But if you do not face your weakness, daily, directly, ruthlessly, it will grow in the corners of your life until it becomes the architect of your failure. Weakness does not ask for permission. It takes what you do not guard. It hides in your hesitation, in your justifications, in every I'll do it tomorrow. It feeds on your softness, your compromise, your indulgence. And one day, you will look back at the life you lived and wonder, when did I stop being dangerous? I will tell you when. The moment you tolerated your own decay. The man who refuses to kill his weakness becomes its servant. He builds dreams, but never wakes early enough to chase them. He sets goals, but never bleeds to meet them. He speaks of strength, but trembles in silence. You must kill the part of you that delays. The part that complains. The part that always needs comfort before movement. You must wage war on the self that wants to stay the same. This is not poetry. This is survival. You think life will warn you before it punishes you. It won't. It will take your time, your energy, your edge, and it will not apologize. I have buried versions of myself, soft, afraid, arrogant, lazy. I did not hold funerals. I held the blade. And with every death, I became sharper. There is a version of you that still exists because you haven't yet earned the right to outgrow him. You still make excuses for him. You still protect him. You still call him just who I am. Kill him. There is no growth without sacrifice. There is no mastery without destruction. You do not become your future self by negotiating with your present weakness. So stop waiting for perfect conditions. Stop fantasizing about some future moment of courage. Draw the line today. Raise your standard. Tighten your grip. Burn the bridge to who you used to be. Your weakness is not just holding you back. It is slowly replacing you. So strike first. Kill the weakness, or it will kill you.